Hey, what's up, everybody? Just doing a webcam blog, I guess, or today because I didn't really feel like doing a lot of editing. Just feeling a little lazy today. I was on Facebook and I have a few friends that are very deep, and um, I have one friend that's kind of like a new ager, and I have another friend that's an atheist. And at times, conversations come up, and I agree with them on a lot of levels. Um, but I want to take some time and share just some of my thoughts of the state of our world. So this may be a little long, but I'm gonna try to be concise. Uh, a friend of mine from LA came and visited, and he was like, how do I feel, and you know, what's my thoughts about being back in Texas? And of course, I like to always share my thoughts on this. Um, on a spiritual level, I always kind of feel like there's a difference in spiritual energy in California than there is in Texas. Now, mind you, there's a lot of religious people in the South, but being religious and spiritual are two different things. So you can take that with how you want. A lot of people will say, well, I'm spiritual or whatever. And sure enough, I'm not going to judge whether a person's having a spiritual experience or not. You know, there's a lot of people who religiously go to church, who religiously, believe what they believe. But I question whether they're having a spiritual experience, an actual spiritual experience. I say this because on Facebook, I posted, and I may go ahead and put the links to the videos. I said there's a very slight difference between people in the church today with mass hypnosis and religion. People in the church today compared to mass hypnosis. And even a lot of people who know what's going on with the whole global movement and everything and the New World Order already are quite aware that there's this mass hypnosis that's always going on, whether that's in advertising, music that you listen to, television programming, but that's also including in church. Um, there's this mass hypnosis where you're constantly being put in a trance and constantly being given suggestions. But at what point are you actually thinking for yourself? At what point are you stepping back and saying, okay, how do I really feel about this? How do I really think? What do I believe? Um, my opinion, this is just my 2 cents, is that people who live close to the coast, whether that's California or New York or Florida or even people on the islands, and there are some religious people on islands, but I think people who live very sea level, um, like Louisiana is below sea level, but there's a lot of spiritual people there, and of course they practice everything. But it's tend there tends to be a high level of spirituality with people who live close to water, and I wonder if there's a connection between the two. We already know that California has so many cracks, and it's the ground. They have earthquakes, so they have moving plates. I forget what they call them, but in the center, this is my belief, in the core of our planet, there's a lot of energy, and the energy is emitted out. And water is a very big conductor of energy. So, and we are mostly water. We're made up mostly of water. So I really believe that when people live close to water, we receive the energy from the planet a whole lot easier, as well as people, like, because of California, they have all those earthquakes, and there's so many fault lines. That's the word that they're living on. A lot of the energy is emitted out. So your common Joe, average guy who's never been to church can have this spiritual epiphany. Versus here in Texas, the ground is pretty solid. We're way above sea level. So I find it, that people, not quite so much spirituality, but a lot of religious things. They have a lot of religious ideas. They're very close-minded to a lot of extra ideas or outside ideas. So it takes a lot for a person to kind of step outside their box. Not that they can't or they won't, but I think it takes more effort for somebody who's been born and raised in the South, has never traveled outside of those areas. And I mean, when they do, they tend to relax more anyway. So I always suggest that people definitely get to travel more, live in a different area at least once in your life, and just see the world. What else did I want to talk about? Um, basically, I've been studying a lot about the Sumerians, the first civilization, the Nephilim, the gods. Um, if I believe that all these stories about gods and angels are very synonymous with what we call extraterrestrials and what we call aliens. I don't think there's any difference. I don't. Of course, they wouldn't call them aliens back in the biblical days or ancient days. They would call them whatever they wanted to call them. Now we call them extraterrestrials. I mean, a lot of people don't believe in extraterrestrials. I've seen UFO, so call me weird. There's plenty of people who've seen them. Just because you haven't, oh well, sorry. Like I said, I saw them when I was in California. Saw one, and it was outside by the ocean, so it was quite different. It was quite interesting. Definitely wasn't a plane, so you could always scratch that out. Or a weather balloon. You always hear people talking about weather balloons, but no, not a weather balloon. So it's amazing to me. What do I believe is going to happen? Um, well, like I said, we can only take the Bible with a grain of salt because the Bible that we have now is manufactured. So the powers that be, whoever's in charge, whether you call them the Illuminati or the businessmen or the bankers or whoever, or the Catholic Church, the powers that be only want the common people to know a certain few things. Because of the internet, we have become more powerful because we can communicate, but they're trying to get a control of the internet. They're trying to lock it down, and you're going to start seeing more sanctions for our safety. But if we don't start speaking up and sharing information, then we're not going to get very far in this global evolution. How I feel about the New World Order. I think the New World Order is inevitable. There is going to be a New World Order. I don't think having a New World Order is bad. What is bad is how do we go about doing it? Is it who's going to be in control? Is it going to be the people, or is it going to be the powers that have always been in control? I think that the powers that have been in control for the last few thousand years, they know that a new age is coming. They know that a new world order is coming. They're just trying to prepare for it, and they're trying to make sure that they still continue to keep the control that they already have. The point is, the New World Order is going to happen. People should not fight it, but they should realize that it is an opportunity to change. It's an opportunity to change everything, which includes that the powers that be that are in control now, they will not be in control in the New World Order if we do something about it. And when I say we, I mean people, real people, the common people. We have to be careful because with any uprising, and you're starting to see a lot of uprisings, there is the possibility of the common people becoming the dictators, and it happens all through history. But right now, we are seeing an upheaval of old power falling and the new generation taking over. You're seeing it in Egypt. You're seeing it in Libya. You're going to see it here in America. This is how it is because America is trying to be on the good guy end. The good, like, oh, we're good. We're that's not us. You know what I mean? They want to make people believe that, but America has done a lot of stuff that is corrupt. And if the leaders don't get their act together, they're going to see the same thing happen here. So, but they're trying to keep enough of their mind control devices in place to keep people quiet, to keep people docile, which includes, like I said, advertising, television programming, music, and religion. And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? But if going back on the religion tip, if you look at hypnosis and how hypnosis is done, and when they say, just relax, close your eyes, and listen to my voice. How hypnosis or hypnosis, getting tongue tied, how hypnotists do their audience. And if you look at a preacher and how a preacher does his congregation, nowadays it's almost scary about how close they resemble. And I think a lot of people believe that they may be having a spiritual experience, but in truth, they're having a hypnotic experience. And those are two different things. So let us not confuse having a spiritual experience with having a hypnotic suggested experience that you can remember. So I think people should really strive hard to be spiritually conscious in everything, whether what you listen to, what you eat, um, who you allow to teach you. You know what I mean? Like I said, don't take my word for it. You should go and study for yourself. But I just spilled a whole lot of information at you, and I'm so sorry. But just a lot of stuff on my mind. And just give me your 2 cents about that. What do you think about that? What's going on in the world? I will probably be doing another video blog that's probably better quality later, but not right now. But this is just my rant, what I had on my mind. I gave a lot of information, but it was all in my head and I had to get it out. Oh, go visit my written blog. Please go at montrebible.com. I do write a blog, so I'd like your input on that. I'll see you guys. Remember, if you don't do it, then who will?